This video is for those who have extra cash, either sitting in their corporations or sitting in their personal. And the common question here is, should my extra cash go towards my TFSAs, RRSPs, my corporation? And it's always the tax planning, a part of your overall planning, that where exactly should your excess cash go? Because we don't want to only focus on where to put the money and receive the best returns, but we also want to make sure where we have the least tax to be paid at the end of the day when we have to use it, right? Because we don't want to invest into some place where we end up growing the money for sure, but then half of the money just disappeared into taxes, right? So this is the video that will be explaining what exactly we should be, or how exactly we should be planning. In the last video, there was a portion where we did that corporation can actually increase your business taxes if you invest from the same corporation or even from your holding corporations. Right now, the question comes in, if not there, then where should the excess cash go? It A simple answer is it isn't the same for everyone, right? Every single person's financial situation is different, and every single person's goals are different. Someone want to do a good things and great things for their own self. Someone want to do everything for their next generation, for their family, right? So answer will never be the same for everyone. Now, the core problem here, guys, is that most people, they default to investing, that whenever they have money, they just by default they put it into investing, and that's where their money sits. Not they think about the taxation, not they think about anything. They just feel like I have to just make my money work. But today you're making the money work, but you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And many people are told RRSP is good, TFSA is good. Your friends may tell you, hey, RRSP is bad, TFSA is the best. Your accountant may tell you RRSP is the best, TFSA is not going to help you with taxation. Well, the answer is it's never going to be the same for every single person. And you're told that one is good, one is bad, other is good, other is worse, without any context, without looking at what your exactly situation is, what your exactly future plans are. And it's never that you have to think about how your today's decisions are. You have to always focus on how it's going to affect your future retirement cash flow. It's never about maximizing the returns only. Yes, it is part of the investment that you have to maximize your returns, but that's not the only thing that you should be focusing on. It's about minimizing the future regret. What if you went into an investment product that gave you $100,000 of, returns as of today, but then you ended up realizing that 51% is going to the government, so you're left with only 49,000. But that was your hard-earned money which you already paid taxes on. And then you're wrapping your head around that, oh, CRA is this, government is that, they take too much taxes. We start the blame game. But guys, the thing is, a smart person, a wealthy person would always make sure they plan for the future, not only today. So you always want to minimize your future regret, not only maximize your today's returns. Now, the wrong question would be that which account gives me the best tax shelter? Simple answer to it could be RRSPs, IPP plans, some of those things. But that is a wrong question because there is no additional context to it. Well, the right question should be, you need to know which account will give me the most flexibility and control later, most liquidity, most flexibility, most confidence. Because if we cannot invest with confidence, we would end up losing our money 100% guaranteed, because CRA is very confident with the tax system that they have built up. And there is no way to save it, or there is no way to work around it, but definitely many ways to plan for it. Right? So your wrong question, never ask somebody which account, where can I save my taxes? Which account should I invest? Simple answer could be RRSP. But is RRSP giving you any flexibility and control for later? No. So your right question should be, which account gives me the most flexibility and control later, and you also want to focus on maximum returns as well. All right. Now let's look at few of these things. TFSA, RRSPs, corporations, like what exactly are their, pros and cons or qualities, characteristics, right? So TFSA, it's very flexible. So in TFSA, whatever money you contribute, you can withdraw it at any point of the time. You have the control, you have the flexibility as well. and TFSA gives you a tax-free access whenever you have to pull the money out. So it doesn't matter you invested $100,000, it grew up to, let's say, 10 years down the road, you figured out you got into a very beautiful investment, you ended up, tripling the money. So your 100,000 went up to $300,000. You can access that money at any point of the time, 100% tax free. And you cannot buy properties from your TFSA. There, that is the question sometimes I get to ask. So, and TFSA, because it's a tax-free savings account, it does not have any impact on your retirement income taxes. You may think that it's not an important point, but it will be when you go close to retirement. So at that time, you will be having CPPs, OAS coming up, maybe GIS if you fall under the low income tax brackets. So all these pension things are coming up. And then you get to realize that, oh, you have some rental properties, and suddenly you are in the high income tax bracket. So TFSA will not increase your tax bracket because this is 100% a tax-free savings account. So whatever money grew in this account, it can be pulled up 100% tax-free. Now, TFSA, yes, it has their limits, guys. Anything that provides you a tax-free payout will always has its limits. So there are some limits. So make sure whenever you're investing in TFSA, you talk to a professional where to calculate, how to see what your TFSA room looks like. And at the end of the day, but keep in mind, you want to make sure, you need to focus on the account that gives you the most flexibility, most control, and of course, the maximum investment returns. All right. Looking at the RRSP. Now, TFSA is a tax free, so it does not give you any tax advantages as of now. Now, second one would be your RRSP, Registered Retirement Savings Plan. As the name suggests, it's a retirement focused plan. All right. So it gives you a tax deferral, not a tax elimination. Simply means any money that you contribute into RRSP, it reduces your taxable income. For example, you have a personal taxable income of, let's say, $100,000. You invest $20,000 into RRSP. Now your taxable income is 80,000, and whatever your marginal tax rate is, whatever your highest tax bracket was on that $20,000, you will be getting a refund, or it will reduce your any tax payable that you have as of today. But then you invest the money in future when you have to withdraw from your RRSP, the whole amount that you withdraw will be considered back into your taxable income. So you may think, hey, today I'm saving taxes, tomorrow I'm again paying taxes. What is the whole point of RRSP? RRSP works best when your future income is lower. So thinking that today I'm young, I'm healthy, I'm earning good, I'm, running my business, I'm in the high income tax bracket. By the time I retire, I will be having lower income. That is the time when this RRSP will be working the best. But keep in mind, it can definitely create a tax pressure later on if it's over relied on, right? So if you're contributing too much into RRSP, well, today you were, let's say, in 30% tax bracket, but you contributed too much, and tomorrow you have about, let's say, a $2 million sitting in your RRSP compounded. Now you have to make sure you use it throughout your retirement. And if you don't end up using it, your kids are responsible to pay off whatever your terminal tax returns taxes are. So you're technically you were planning to save it, but then someone passed away before they ended up using their RSPs, and now your kids they have to pay the highest tax bill, which would be definitely as of today, it's at 53%, the highest tax bracket. So you always need to plan accordingly. Not too much, not too less as well. In the corporation, guys, corporation is definitely is powerful. It gives you a lot of flexibility, but it comes with its trade-offs as well. All right. So what it simply means, as I said, as I explained in my last video as well, the moment your passive income in the corporation increases over $50,000, it is going to affect your small business deduction as well. So you're coming in the high income tax bracket. So corporation, no doubt it gives you control, flexibility, but it can backfire you as well if you're not planning it right. Right? It ties the money to the business rules. So of course, when like in the business, however you're planning and however you're utilizing your money, there has business rules. It is separate from the personal and passive income. Your investment income will always be taxed higher in the corporation comparative to the personal income taxes. as long as the your personal tax, because in most cases, if you have a corporation, you would be staying lower than $250,000. And if your income is over $250,000 on personal side, then your personal tax becomes higher on the investments as comparatively to the corporation, because you're on the personal, your highest tax bracket is 53%, but on the corporation it's 51%. All right. So you always have to kind of see that, which how your planning would make sense. Now, corporation definitely, it affects taxes, benefits, and flexibility. But in the corporation, when I say flexibility, there's this word, and that's what we said the right answer has to be, where I get the most flexibility and most control. No doubt in corporation, your tax bills are higher. But let me tell you that in the corporation, you get the most amount of flexibility and most amount of control as well. So in corporation, there is a strategy that's called infinite banking. You, which I will be covering in my coming videos as well. The moment you understand and adapt infinite banking, that is one of the best ways to build your wealth, to make sure you live off your retirement tax free, and to make sure you're transferring your assets to next generation tax, not tax free, but in a very tax planned way. All right, because it gives you more control and flexibility. So those are the things that you can definitely plan in the corporation. But if you don't plan it, as I said, it can definitely backfire you. All right, so we have to make sure we are planning for wherever our money is, because it's your hard-earned dollar. Don't just end up wasting too much into taxes. The real mistake, guys, is most people, they don't they may diversify that, okay, this is one property, this is my another property. That's, they may think that, I'm diversifying, that I'm investing one in British Columbia, I'm investing one in Ontario, but they don't diversify where their money sits. Real estate is one class of assets, and that is taxable, right? So you need to learn how other products, how other strategies works as well. You need to adapt Smith maneuver strategies. You need to adapt infinite banking strategies. You need to adapt IPPs. You need to adapt other services as well. Because if you're putting all the eggs under one basket, well, the real estate, it definitely is what you can see, but there are other better investments as well. Those have given better rate of returns, and those are not as tax, they don't tax you as high as comparatively to real estate if planned right. Right? So it's, you always have to diversify investments. Not only that, but where the money sits as well, because you have to plan for your tax exposure as well. If you're not planning it well, you would end up just giving away your wealth to CRA, and which guaranteed will be over 50%. What smart planning would look like. You are watching this video. After this, like what exactly are the actions that you need to take? How can you actually save those taxes? So how smart planning would look like is that, use the multiple buckets, as I said, which I will be covering in my next videos as well. As I said, those IPPs, infinite banking plans, right? RRSP strategies as well. Like, put your eggs into multiple buckets, and then insurance asset classes as well, because insurance and TFSA, these are the only two products that provides you a tax-free payout. And TFSA can only be used personally, but insurance can be incorporated in your business as well. So you always need to put your eggs into multiple buckets. That's how you're gonna be, that's how you're gonna be planning your taxes. Now plan withdrawals before retirement. Don't say that today I'm just investing this money, and at the retirement when I have to withdraw, I'll worry about it that at that time. No, you have to plan for your withdrawals before. What if at that time either you're left with too much, not saying less, but what if you have too much and you're not able to plan your withdrawals? And again, if you plan withdraw more, you're again in the high income tax bracket. So what was the whole point of putting too much money there? So, guys, planning is the solution. Sit down with a professional. Coordinating corporate, personal, and registered money. Registered money, personal, corporations, as I said, few of these tools, we just compared three of these tools. There are many other tools as well. So, we always need to plan accordingly. Don't just think about today, please. Don't just think about today. Think 10 to 20 years ahead. If you don't care about your, if you don't care about your retirement, if you don't care about your kids, For sure. Just think about it today. Who cares what happens next 2 years? Who cares what happens 5 years from today? If you're that kind of person, sure, that's totally fine as well. That's how you choose to live. That's how you choose to, plan for your own money. But I always recommend if you're a family man, if you love your kids more than your CRA, if you love your family more than CRA, you definitely need to plan 10, 20 years ahead, not just today. Because if you're thinking short term, CRA is always going to win in the long term, and we are always going to lose in the long term. So plan ahead, not just this year's tax bill, guys, but 10, 20 years ahead. Now, wherever you invest your money, it matters just as much on how much you invest. So sometimes we feel like, Karan, I want to start with investments. How much should I start with? I have this 100,000, I have this $100, I have this $1 million. How much should I invest? Right? How much? That's a major question that you are asked. But you also need to know where to invest as well, how to plan for it. It's not only the number that, you just give it to me and then we end up planning for it. No, we have to sit down, we have to analyze your goals, we have to see what exactly you're planning to do with the money, how you're planning to use the money, what is the end goal, and then we are going to figure out your today's path. So you just as much as you worry about how much, you need to know where as well. So I will be covering many other concepts in my coming videos as well. Feel free to like, subscribe, whatever you want to do, and make sure you're following these videos, giving your reviews in the captions as well, so that I know what topics you want me to cover in my coming videos. Thank you so much for listening, guys. God bless. I hope you got some value today.